Hey Hoopheads, Brad here, and today I want to look at some defensive film from Chris Boucher, who's been on an absolute tear lately, making a big impact on both ends of the floor for the Raptors. And just to give you some stats right now, Boucher is third in the league in blocks with 2.5 per game. Opponents are shooting just 40.6% on shots he contests, and the Raptors defense is 3.5 points better when he's on the court than when he's off of it. Let's get into it. One of the first things you notice about Boucher's D in pick and roll is that he's pretty decent at moving his feet to cut off the ball handler's path to the rim. His positioning and verticality has taken a big step up this year, and it just looks more like he knows where he's supposed to be and is anticipating plays a little more instead of reacting to them. And then once he's deterred initial drives, he can also fly out to the perimeter to contest threes using his length. And because of that, not only is he able to get a hand in guys' faces, but sometimes he can even get a piece of the shot, which you don't see a ton in the NBA. And one of the great things that you see with Boucher that you don't necessarily see from every big man his size is he doesn't have to play in drop coverage. He's comfortable stepping up above the three-point line, and obviously guards are going to get a step on him in that situation, but Boucher works hard to keep pressure on the drive, and then here you see him rotate out to the helper's man in the corner to contest the three, and he doesn't get every rotation perfectly right, but he's really contributing a lot of positives. Here, a really high screen, Boucher steps up, and McCollum right away throws the pass over the top to Canner, and as you see Stanley Johnson step up with some help, Boucher is hustling to get back into the play and block the shot. His speed and athleticism are a huge asset, and here with the game on the line, he steps up to contain Rozier, and then as soon as that threat is neutralized, hustling back over to his man, and once again covering a lot of ground, and really a pretty decent shot contest here. Even though it looks like he's kind of far away, his length still makes him a factor in the shooter's consideration, and that has value. Of course, Boucher's pick and roll defense isn't perfect. Guards are able to freeze him with a hesitation sometimes and then accelerate to get to the rim. But obviously there are speed differences between a guy Boucher's size and a point guard. And these aren't super easy strolls to the rim here that we're seeing. They're mostly very impressive finishes around Boucher's length with him bothering the shot that ultimately you can probably live with even if they're not perfect. And when Boucher gets switched onto a perimeter player who's not as deadly of a shooter, he likes to play pretty conservatively, giving guys a little space and focusing on containment rather than trying to run them off the three-point line. That's been more important with the Raptors' help defense taking a bit of a step back this year. And with that extra space, even if guys do try to attack, he's able to use his long strides to recover and stay in the play and disrupt things. Plus, the other good thing about having that length is you're never too far off from giving a good shot contest, even if you get shaken a little bit. And again, his perimeter D, like his pick and roll D, isn't perfect. He occasionally will get shaken for a mid-ranger, or guys will get by him and get to the rim, but that's okay, and with the way the Raptors pack the paint, there's often a little help there to fix things, or in some cases, there should be help, but somebody's asleep at the wheel. This here is a mental lapse by Boucher, where he makes a switch onto Curry, smart move, but then as soon as Curry gives it up, Boucher goes and tries to switch back, leaving Curry wide open one pass away from the ball. He misses, but that's obviously not a shot you want to give Curry. In any case, I'd say Boucher looks quite good on the perimeter. Even if he has to switch out onto a smaller guy, he can pretty much hold his own and make sure he doesn't get too far out of the play or make too many bad decisions that are going to compromise the integrity of the defense. And we all know the criticisms of Boucher. He's not a super strong guy, and that means sometimes guys will be able to power through him to finish. I mean, that's life. You're not going to be able to stop every shot. Not everybody can be Shaq. The key if you're a skinnier guy is to make sure that you're not getting caught out of position too many times, because if you're out of position and you're slender, then it can be a little bit easier to move you, but if you're in good position and they have to still go all the way through you, that's going to be a problem for the offensive player. And the other big source of criticism in years past has been Boucher's fouling, and although he did foul out of the game against the Warriors, he's definitely shown a lot better discipline in terms of biting for pump fakes, especially on the perimeter. And if you adjust for minutes played, he's actually fouling about 15 to 20% less this season compared to the last couple. But you can definitely see still on some of these fouls, they're just ill-advised when he's in pretty good guarding position and he doesn't need to reach. But, you know, you're still developing that discipline, and you can't expect perfection from guys either. And before I go any further, I just want to take a few seconds to say please check out the Too Much Hoops Patreon at patreon.com/toomuchhoops. There's a link in the description. There I'm doing polls about what kind of breakdowns I should do, putting out a little exclusive content, and a portion of all proceeds goes to charity each month, so I'd appreciate you checking that out. And the other big part of Boucher's defense that I haven't touched on yet is his help defense at the rim. As I mentioned earlier, Boucher's been more disciplined this season. With his length and his improved positioning, he can still impact a lot of shots without trying to jump through the roof and block every attempt. On this play, as the screen is set, you see him dropping, deterring both Graham and Biyombo at the same time. And then as the ball goes to Bridges and he attacks, Boucher steps toward him as he makes sure he cuts off the pass to Biyombo, and as Bridges turns and fades away, Boucher doesn't try to go all out to get the block, just a solid shot contest, no chance of a foul. Really nice to see that discipline from him. And then on this one here, you see OG pressuring up on LaMelo Ball. He attacks off the dribble, but Chris Boucher is on the strong side here, so Ball will go all the way across the key to try to get his shot up, and Boucher just tracks it the entire time, lining it up, making sure he gets his timing down, and then pouncing at the exact right moment. And Boucher's got a ton of blocks like that, where the offensive player doesn't really feel like Boucher has a chance to get to the shot, but he just covers a lot of ground, uses that speed, that length, that athleticism. He's had some really impressive physical feats this season, but one of the things I've loved about a lot of his blocks has been that they're coming from good positioning. He'll make sure he lines himself up with his body between the guy who's attacking and the basket, so that he's able to just jump straight up and down as much as possible, while the offensive player has to try to drive through him or reach around that length. And really, having good positioning comes from good anticipation and good understanding of what's happening on the floor. Here, he's attached to his man, but he's fully aware of the play that's developing, and as Curry gets the ball heading toward the basket, Boucher is going to approach him, but he makes sure to cut off the pass to his man until Curry fully commits to shooting. Then he goes up for the clean block, doesn't jump into his body, not letting Curry make the little dump off pass. And to me, Boucher just looks like he's reading the floor a lot better than we've ever seen from him before. For the most part, he knows where he needs to be rotating, and I'd say we're seeing Boucher make meaningful progress as a defender, and he's really having a positive impact on this team's defensive identity and what they're able to execute on the floor. Thanks for watching. If you like what I do, check out my Patreon where I'm doing polls on what breakdowns I should do and putting out a little exclusive content. And if you want to see more videos like these, like and subscribe and join the conversation in the comments.